Hello everyone and welcome to yet another Rewatch review. This time we are looking at
Incredibly handsome criminal genius and master of all villainy.
Megamind. Now that Megamind 2 is out, I thought I'd take this opportunity to cheer up anyone disappointed by that movie by rewatching and talking about its prequel, Megamind. The movie that came out in 2010, directed by Tom McGrath and starring Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Jonah Hill, David Cross and Brad Pitt and many others. This movie was a cult classic and a childhood favorite of mine. The plot revolves around Megamind, a supervillain who, after several attempts at doing so, ends up defeating his nemesis Metro Man. After a brief celebration, Megamind goes into a deeply sad state because he is no longer intellectually challenged and in the process of his grieving finds an unlikely friend in Roxanne Ritchie, the quote-unquote damsel in distress, by pretending to be someone else and slowly starts falling in love with her. At the same time, he also works on a plan to create a new hero by using Metro Man's DNA. However, both these plans fail at the same time as Roxanne finds out who he is and leaves him, and Titan turns out to be evil and much worse than Megamind. It's then up to Megamind to save the girl and the town from this new villain.
Oh, that was such a funny story. And brilliantly told, by the way. Okay, now you tell one.
The movie has a simple yet unusual story that challenges the usual norms of the superhero genre. It is a funny and light-hearted movie that can be equally enjoyed by both parents and kids, and also has some surprisingly profound philosophical and moral discussions that forces the more mature audiences to think about concepts like the implications of being a hero or villain.
I began to realize, despite all my powers, each and every citizen of Metro had something I didn't. A choice.
And the debate of nature versus nurture, and the subtle commentary on class system and how poverty can influence one's morality, since Metro Man was adopted by a wealthy family while Megamind was raised by prisoners. One of the things that I'm sure fans love about this movie is the actual villain, that is Titan or Hal, voiced by Jonah Hill, who does a perfect voiceover for this character. Hal or Titan is a refreshingly new kind of villain. Instead of someone with a great tragic past, he's simply an ordinary guy with very bad morals. And the movie does a good job of displaying what power can look like in the hands of someone who only wants to use it for personal gain.
No, you're a hero.
Being a hero is for losers. It's work, 24/7, and for what? I only took the gig to get the girl, and it turns out Roxanne doesn't want anything to do with me.
The casting director of this movie deserves a special shout out, since each character has voices that suits them perfectly. Although some of them are easily recognizable as celebrity voices, I only realized that it's Brad Pitt playing Metro Man during this rewatch. The way he changes his intonation to match the character's personality really hides his celebrity voice, which I think is pretty cool.
Don't panic, Roxy. I'm on my way.
I don't have anything really negative to say about this film. Although admittedly it does have a few conventional tropes and a few black and white morals, it is unlikely to ruin your rewatch experience. I give it a solid 9.2 out of 10. Now let's look at some details. The movie begins with Megamind's narration and his childhood. He talks about how he was raised to be bad by prisoners. However, at this point in his narration, he's now a changed man. Notice how, even though as a baby, he shakes his head for the policeman and nods his head for the burglar, in his adult narration voice, he calls it right and wrong in that order.
Taught me the differences between right and wrong.
In this scene where he is hiding from Titan in a giant robo-suit, this poster of a ketchup has a huge mallet hitting a tomato and the tomato spilling on Megamind's face, which is a clever metaphor for the fact that he is being thrown a tomato in his face as his plans kept failing. Both times Megamind is exposed for using the disguising watch by someone else, it's Roxanne, but the reaction that the people around him give is the stark opposite in both instances. These two scenes are almost identical and signifies Roxanne's change in perspective about Megamind. That's all I have for you today. If you have any friends or family who watched Megamind 2 and were disappointed, I encourage you to send this video to them. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next one.
Ciao, all.
Same time next week.